what is the DNA of this company?
Right, right. It really makes sense to me that since everything is changing around you, and maybe your clients, your market, your competitors, everything around you is changing, you need to think what is the parts that you need or should or could change, to adjust to all the changes outside. And it's hard.
It is hard, and it's the typical strategy dilemma also. Many companies, it's quite easy to discuss what you want to achieve. And it's a lot harder to discuss, okay, in order to achieve this, then we want to give up this. That can also be difficult, especially if that's a sacred cow in the company. We've always done it like this.
Yeah.
Now you need to give it up to be able to become world champions in something else.
Yeah, I think that giving up on things that you are sure about and you got results in the past is so hard for them. And it really makes sense because till now it worked. It worked really fine. And now you're saying, okay, you need to consider something else. Why should we? It's really hard to see the results in the end in the market. It takes time. It could be like in 2 years, but in 2 years, will you be ready for that?
Exactly.
And it's hard to convince.
Exactly. And that leads into metrics as well. Because in the core business, a lot of, especially successful companies, they have very good metrics. They can know exactly what they're selling, margins, profitability, but how do they measure on something that they want to really commercialize in 3 to 5 years? How do they measure how they progress on learning? How do they progress on reducing uncertainty? That's also for a lot of people in the corporate world. That's relatively difficult because it's not that as tangible as what they're used to.
Yeah,
they can't see it in the ERP system.
Yeah, if you have like ROI, it's very clear. This is how much, and it's calculated. And something which is not tangible, it's hard to really relate to, and it's hard to just think about it as progressing if you don't see the bottom line results, which is hard.
And I would assume that in many companies, I've been part of it myself. If you make a business case for a new product generation, then you try to sugarcoat the numbers a bit to make it profitable. Yeah. Everybody knows it. But what if you have something that's longer into the future with more uncertainties? Then it becomes a lot harder to get people to believe that is this really feasible?
Yeah. I think that what we discussed in the last time is about Lego, that only when they came into this point that they couldn't do anything in a very, very low point in the company, they decided, okay, we don't have any other choice. We should just try something completely different.
Yeah. The burning platform certainly helps to make change. Absolutely. But it also limits what kind of change you can make. So it's not that you should ask for a burning platform.
No.
So there's a lot of change management in this. How do you orchestrate that? To unfreeze, to be able to create something new. And you need to look at what's the state the company is, what's the environment is operating in.
Yeah, what I talked about in the case of Lego is the urgency. So how can you create this urgency when everything is just fine? We've done everything as till now in this certain process in this certain way. So how can you make them be anyway compliant to the change or needs to change or really want to change if everything is working just fine? So a crisis like we have right now, or what Lego had in the past, is a point that you could not continue to say that everything is just fine.